Hello and welcome to Newsweek South Asia, a program that exposes Pakistan's role and nexus in promoting global terrorism and its funding. Here are the headlines. FATF demands more transparency in action from Pakistan against terror funding. Imran Khan's minister attends ceremony of designated terrorists. Former Bangladesh Prime Minister Khaleda Zia's son faces life imprisonment. And Pakistan hardliners threaten violence over Asia Bibi judgment. Pakistan, which has been under the hammer of Financial Action Task Force, has received another warning from the terror watchdog on its approach to counter the menace of terrorism emanating from its soil. Newsweek South Asia has a report.
Pakistan, a state which is known all over the world for providing a safe haven and support to dreaded terrorists and also providing resources and training to their terror organizations, have caused a lot of harm and misery throughout the world, especially in India and Afghanistan. In June this year, Global Money Laundering and Anti-Terror Financial Watchdog, Financial Action Task Force or the FATF, announced in its plenary meeting that Pakistan would again be placed back on its grey list as it had failed to take control of terror financing. Pakistan was earlier placed in the grey list in the year 2012 to 2015. Asia Pacific Group on Money Laundering, APGML, an arm of the FATF, has asked Pakistan to bring more transparency in its action against terror funding organizations. The 9-member team, which is on a 10-day visit to Pakistan, has also asked Islamabad to bring more transparency in its action it has taken in proliferation matters.
Pakistan is so deeply involved in terrorism and terror financing. It will be very, very difficult because not only the private sector but the government sector itself is deeply involved in terror financing.
The FATF, consisting of members of the Scotland Yard, US Treasury Unit and Financial International Unit, started the evaluation process, which is expected to end by October 19th. The team questioned 3 Pakistani agencies: Financial Monitoring Unit, Federal Investigation Agency and Anti-Narcotics Unit on the progress made on the 10-point action plan committed by Islamabad to the FATF. According to a report, the team asked Pakistani officials on how effective sanctions 1,267 of the 1,373 designated terrorists and agents were. The visit tracks Pakistan's progress on the action plan, a 10-point roadmap Islamabad committed to the FATF. Islamabad is supposed to comply with the plan by the end of September 2019. The decision to put Pakistan on its grey list was backed by all permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, which are also members of the FATF.
Pakistan, its part, has said that it requires about minimum time of 15 months to implement all these points because they are very, I would say, tedious and require a lot of cleaning up. So therefore, the intent appears to be there, and with the change in government and keeping in consideration the present financial condition of Pakistan in mind, I think there will be some forward movement, but total elimination of terror financing from soil of Pakistan is difficult.
Pakistan, even facing sanctions, have their aid cut by the United States, still continues to create trouble in its neighboring countries. Till date, the National Counter-Terrorism Agency of Pakistan, which is supposedly the central body meant to act against terrorism, lists the Jamaat-ud-Dawa and its charitable front, the Falai-Insaniyat, as under watch, even though both the groups are listed as terrorist organizations in the United Nations Security Council's list of prescribed organizations and individuals. Hafiz Saeed is on that list too, but that too did not stop the LET from contesting the elections. For years now, India has been the victim of the malicious designs and plots of the Pakistan-backed terror outfits. Be it the attacks on the parliament, Mumbai, or the continuous attempts of creating a proxy war in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan has over the years tried to create a tense atmosphere in India.
In the month of October and September, the FATF team had visited Pakistan and found that not much progress has been made, and there are chances of Pakistan being put on the blacklist, and that is why the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan is very keen that he should be able to get the IMF loan before that, because in a moment the FATF blacklist is applied on Pakistan, Pakistan will not be able to get loan from any international institutions like the IMF. So therefore, to me it appears that Pakistan has got no option if it wants to save its financial crisis, if it wants to overcome its financial crisis. It has to act upon the directions or the action plan given by the FATF. But how much the army and the ISA cooperates with Imran Khan in doing this is a matter of concern and will have to be watched.
Be it the Haqqani network, Al-Qaeda or the Taliban, there are many terror outfits operating from Pakistan soil. Before the FATF meeting earlier this year, Pakistan's government amended the anti-terror legislation through an ordinance to include UN-designated individuals and groups in the national listing, prescribed outfits and persons. Evidently, these actions did not satisfy the FATF.
The governments in Pakistan keeps changing, but the continuous support given to terror outfits by Pakistani establishment has remained strong throughout. Recently, the Minister for Religious Faith and Interfaith Harmony was seen sharing the podium with none other than Hafiz Saeed. Newsweek South Asia has a report.
Imran Khan, the newly elected Prime Minister of Pakistan, who came to power with the promise of Naya Pakistan or New Pakistan, promised to finish the menace of terrorism from its soil. But 2 months into the job, Khan, along with his ministers, have again started supporting the terrorists who have been living a lavish life on Pakistani soil. Recently, Nur ul Haq Qadri, Pakistan Minister for Religious Affairs and Interfaith Harmony, shared the stage with Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jamaat-ud-Dawa founder Hafiz Saeed. It has triggered a controversy that throws the spotlight on Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's alliance with extremist elements. The incident comes days after Imran Khan expressed his disappointment at what he called a negative and arrogant move by India to call off the Foreign Secretary's meeting on the sidelines of the UNGA.
A false promise of Imran Khan that he's going to eliminate terror is a dream of his, and it should be taken only as a dream. Now he is emerging to be the same kind of leaders who have been helping the Pakistan army into spreading terrorism into the continent.
Qadri was seen sharing the stage with the United Nations certified terrorist Hafiz Saeed, who has been wanted in India for masterminding the 26/11 Mumbai terror attack. He met the LET chief at the Difa-e-Pakistan or Defense of Pakistan Council, an extremist outfit of 40 religious groups. Most importantly, Qadri said he was asked to attend the meeting by the Prime Minister himself, raising question marks on Khan's commitment on clamping down terror in Pakistan. Attendees of the meeting also saw the presence of Jamaat-e-Islami founder Maulana Sami ul Haq, who runs the Darul Uloom Haqqani Seminary in Akhora Kattak, which is the hub of the Taliban.
It is a very well-known fact that the terror outfits in Pakistan and Hafiz Saeed have been working under the direction of the Pakistan army. So it is but obvious that after the Imran Khan government came into power in Pakistan, the ministers would be sharing stage with all these terrorists and these known terrorists, and they will be doing this at the behest of the entire country and the entire world. So this is nothing to be shocked of, or this is nothing surprising. But what is to be noted is that Imran Khan came with a certain promise, and he is looked upon to as a prime minister with a difference in Pakistan. He's proving it to be wrong, and if his ministers are being seen with Hafiz Saeed, who is a branded terrorist by the United States of America, who's been blacklisted, then some serious steps should be taken against Pakistan.
Imran Khan sent a special message to the DFC at its very first rally in December 2011, and in February 2012 sent party vice president Ijaz Chaudhry to its Karachi rally, where he said the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI leader was fully supportive of the objectives of the DFC. At the recent meeting, among the others who shared the stage with Qadri and Syed were Sami-ul Haq and former ISI chief Asad Durrani, according to a comprehensive report on the website of Middle East Media Research Institute, quoting several Pakistani Urdu newspapers. Imran Khan has offered confused explanation for his alliance with extremist factions, saying that he must engage with all stakeholders of Pakistan. During US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo's visit to Pakistan, he stated that the LET was too powerful to be taken on by the military.
In Pakistan, with the aim and with the statement that he is going to eliminate terrorists. Now, when he has come into power, Lashkar-e-Toiba is gaining importance in Pakistan, and he made a statement that we should mainstream it. Now, you see, any government which comes into power in Pakistan, it has to abide with the terrorist groups. It has to take into cognizance that we have to survive in this country, taking into line all these terrorists and taking their help under the guidance of the Pakistan army. And that is what Imran Khan is doing it. Now, he thinking of mainstreaming Lashkar-e-Toiba is showing his intent of not curbing terrorism, but to ensure that Pakistan breeds terrorism.
Imran Khan will need to explain Qadri's presence at the DFC meeting to the Financial Action Task Force FATF, which is in Pakistan.
A Bangladeshi court this week sentenced Tariq Rahman, the son of former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, in a 2004 grenade attack case targeting opposition leader and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. We have a report.
Tariq Rahman, the fugitive son of former Bangladesh Premier Khaleda Zia, has been sentenced to life and 19 others given death sentence by a court over the 2004 grenade attack that killed 24 people and injured 500 others, including Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The attack on an Awami League rally on August 21, 2004 targeted Hasina, who survived the attack with a partial hearing loss. Other accused in the case included two former ministers of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party-led four-party alliance government, several Islamist terrorists and senior intelligence and police officers. Many of them are absconders. Security was tightened in the capital as the accused were brought to the court. Rahman, 50, was tried in absentia with the court declaring him a fugitive. He now lives in London, where he is believed to have sought asylum. However, the British authorities have declined to reveal his immigration status.
তারিক জিয়া সহ আলোচনা করেন যে বর্তমানে অবস্থা দেশের পরিস্থিতি খুবই খারাপ, যে এই আওয়ামী লীগ তথা শেখ হাসিনা এই দেশের অরাজকতা সৃষ্টি করতেছে, দেশের ভাবমূর্তি নষ্ট করতেছে, জঙ্গিবাদ বিভিন্ন ধরনের বাংলাদেশের ভিতরে এইভাবে করে দেশকে উচ্ছৃঙ্খল এবং নষ্ট করে দিচ্ছে। এরপর আমাদের একটা পদক্ষেপ নেওয়া দরকার। এরপরে আলী হাসান মুজাহিদ সাহেব উনি বলেন যে আপনার কথা সত্য, শুধু তাই নয়, ইসলামের বিরুদ্ধে কাজ করতেছে, ইসলামের বিভিন্ন ধরনের কাজ করতেছে, অতএব আপনার কথাগুলো অবশ্যই সত্য, এগুলো কাজ করা দরকার। এরপরে
The judgment is absolutely apt. The act of intent amounted to treason against the nation. When you try and assassinate the Prime Minister of a country, it is the most gruesome and most treacherous act that you can undertake. Invariably, the punishment for this is punishment with life or life imprisonment. He is lucky that he did not get a death sentence and has been given life imprisonment. It will set the right example for anybody else who who may attempt to do something similar.
Protesters outside the court in Dhaka demanded a death penalty for Tariq Rahman, acting chairman of the opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party. Judge Shahid Nuruddin of Dhaka's fast-track tribunal pronounced the judgment ordering Rahman to be sent to prison for life along with 18 others. As per the investigations, an influential quarter of the then BNP-led government, including Rahman, had pioneered and sponsored the attackers, the operatives of militant Harkatul Ziad al-Islami. Rahman, two former ministers including Babur and former top police and intelligence officials of the then BNP-led four-party alliance government were among 49 accused in the cases.
তখন ওই সাধারণ আফগানিস্তানের যারা ছিল বিচ্ছিন্নভাবে আফগানিস্তানের লোকের সাথে পাকিস্তানের লোকের সাথে আমি যাই তো হরকতুল জিহাদুল ইসলাম পাকিস্তানি গ্রুপ ছিল তখন বিচ্ছিন্নভাবে আমরা যাই দাওয়াত পেয়েছি হরকতুল জিহাদ এবং আফগানিস্তানের লোকের সম্মিলিতভাবে তখন আরব এবং অন্য পাকিস্তানি গ্রুপ ছিল তাদের ভিতরে একটা ট্রেনিং সেন্টার আমাদেরকে নিয়ে যায় তখন কোনো গ্রুপের সাথে এখনো সংযোগ হয়নি
তখন কি হরকতুল জিহাদ কবে প্রতিষ্ঠা করলেন
তখন ওই যে 1989 তে স্যার তখন বাংলাদেশের এই হরকতুল জিহাদ নামে আরম্ভ হয় 1989 তে এর প্রতিষ্ঠা বাংলাদেশ আছে শহীদ আব্দুর রহমান যে মনিরামপুর বাই
It was one of the most gruesome terrorist attack in which almost 24 people get killed and 500 get injured is something that no country across the globe would accept it. And all perpetrators ideally should have been done to death. But because he's an erstwhile Prime Minister's son, possibly he's got away with life imprisonment.
Other political figures who were given a life sentence are ex-Premier Ziaz, the then political advisor Haris Chaudhry, and former BNP lawmaker Qazi Shah Muhaffazal Hussain Kaikobad. The former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, who has also been serving 5-year imprisonment in a graft case, was not made an accused in the case.
Asia Bibi, the Pakistani Christian woman who has been convicted under the blasphemy law, faces the court while hardliners Islamic group threatened the judge before the ruling. Newsweek South Asia takes a look.
The Asia Bibi blasphemy case, which involves a Pakistani Christian woman, Asia Noreen or Bibi, sentenced to death by hanging in November 2010 after she was accused of insulting Prophet Mohammad in a petty quarrel which is on the verge of mercy plea. But the religious hardliners in Pakistan have threatened judges and announced protests as the country awaits Supreme Court ruling to the infamous case. It was in the beginning of this week which saw the Supreme Court judges reach a conclusion but refused to announce it immediately for reasons to be recorded later. The infamous blasphemy case of Pakistan is commonly subjected to harassment, threats, killings and rioting by the Pakistani ISI and its army to crack down on the minority communities living in Pakistan. Over the years, Asia Bibi has become the face of resistance for the minorities who have been subjected to violence because of their identity. Protests have come all over the world throughout the years in support of Asia, which has led the Pakistani government to reluctantly push the hearing to the Supreme Court.
हम इस केस को हैंडल कर रहे थे लेकिन इस वक्त सैफन मालूक साहब हैं हमारे लॉयर और उन्होंने और मुखालिफ पार्टी ने दोनों ने बड़े अच्छे तरीके से तकरीबन 2.5-3 घंटे इस केस को सुनाया कोर्ट के सामने और कोर्ट की इंस्ट्रक्शन है कि हम किसी किस्म का इस पर कमेंट ना करें मीडिया को भी और हमें भी ऑर्डर किया गया कि हम इस पर कमेंट ना करें तो हम समझते हैं कि हमें कोर्ट की इस चीज़ को मद्देनजर रखते हुए हम इस पर कमेंट्स नहीं कर सकते कि कोर्ट क्या फ़ैसला करती है कोर्ट जो फ़ैसला करेगी वो हम कबूल करेंगे
Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, the hardliner religious political party, which had a strong showing in national elections earlier this year, said in a press conference aired via YouTube that if she was freed, the justices responsible would meet a horrible end. A series of violent protests have also been called up for the next few days by the TLP in the major cities of Pakistan, a move which is seen as a pressure tactic on the judges to deny Asia her right to have a normal life.
आसिया मलूना जिसने हजूर नबी करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को नंगी गालियाँ दी इतराफ़ जुर्म किया सेशन कोर्ट ननकाना ने सज़ाए मौत दी फिर हाई कोर्ट ने तौसीक की सुप्रीम कोर्ट के अंदर कल केस लग रहा है और सूरत हाल ये है कि कानून नमूस रसालत मुअत्तल है। हमारी कोर्ट्स जो हैं वो सज़ा नहीं दे रही, अगर नीचे होती है तो ऊपर जाके उसको ख़त्म कर दिया जाता है। आज तक एक भी गुस्ताख रसूल को सज़ा नहीं हुई और हमें ख़दशा है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी इसको छोड़ देगी।
The TLP, founded in 2015, blocked the capital Islamabad on several occasions, calling for stricter enforcement of Pakistan's controversial blasphemy laws. The protests had forced the resignation of the federal law minister and paved the way for the group to poll elections. This week again, a similar kind of protest has been planned by the notorious group which had moved to prevent Bibi from leaving the country by petitioning the capital's High Court to put her on the no-fly list.
तहरीक लब्बैक या रसूलुल्लाह के तमाम ओहदेदारान और कारकुनों से ये कहता हूँ कि वो हाई अलर्ट रहें और वो तहरीक का जो फ़ैसला होता है उसका वो इंतज़ार करें। काल का मशावरत हो रही है इस पर। दूसरे नंबर पर जितने भी आशिकान रसूल हैं पूरी दुनिया के, वो इसके लिए हर सूरत हाल को फेस करने के लिए वो तैयार रहें। और अगर खुदा न खास्ता कोई ऐसी सूरत बनती है कि हमारे जज जो पहले ही इनका जो मिजाज है वो इस्लाम के मुताबिक नहीं है और गाजी मुमताज़ हुसैन कादरी पर भी फ़ैसला दे चुकी है शरीयत इस्लामिया के ख़िलाफ़ सुप्रीम कोर्ट, कोई तवक्को नहीं है इन जजों से कि ये इस्लाम को पेश नज़र रखेंगे या अल्लाह और उसके रसूल को। तो अगर ये फ़ैसला होता है यहूद नसारा और कादियानियों की मर्ज़ी के मुताबिक तो फिर हमें इस सारे निज़ाम की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, फिर हमें जंग लड़नी पड़ेगी।
If the court upholds Bibi's conviction, the only recourse she will have will be a mercy petition to the president. Freedom in Pakistan, however, means a life under threat by extremists. The mere accusation of blasphemy is so explosive in the conservative Muslim country that anyone, even someone accused of insulting Islam, risks a violent and bloody death at the hands of vigilantes. Politicians, including new Prime Minister Imran Khan, invoked blasphemy during this summer's election, vowing to defend the laws. Such laws in Pakistan prove the point of why the state sees the free run of dreaded terror outfits.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of Newsweek South Asia. We will be back next week with more news, views and analysis from the subcontinent. Meanwhile, do keep writing to us at nwsa@anin.com. This is Surbhi Sharma signing off on the behalf of entire production team of Newsweek South Asia. Goodbye and take care.